All right, you guys, let's talk about something that's pretty well known in the world of investing, and it's called passive income, right? And if you don't know what passive income is, it's basically money that you make for doing little to no work, right? So it would be like you get paid for investing in something, or maybe you have a business that pretty much runs itself, and you receive money on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, right? It's money that you really don't have to do much work for, and it just comes in, right? And there's many different versions of passive income. There's dividends, there's, real estate income like rental properties. Some people have royalties on things, or even, you know, side businesses that require little to no effort. Like maybe someone has a vending machine business, or another one that people would consider passive income is a laundromat. So this is money that comes in for again little to no work. And I want to talk about this because there's a lot that actually goes into this, and I think that the words passive income gets tossed around a little bit. And I want to dive into some of these examples that I just mentioned and talk about, you know, what goes into it, what's involved with it. Is it actually even passive? So let's get right into it. So for me, my version of, or my definition of passive income is no work involved whatsoever. Like I don't have to do anything except file this income for taxes at the end of the year. And for me, the only versions of passive income that I have found for myself thus far and that I participate in is interest and dividends. So I bring in a little bit of money every month from interest. It's not much, it's not life changing money, but I do get paid from my high yield savings account. So it's nice having a little bit of extra money come in every single month. And that literally requires no effort whatsoever. That money just sits in the savings account and it pays me every month. And if I need the money, I can withdraw it and use it for whatever I need it. But otherwise, it's just sitting there and it's earning me some interest. The other version of passive income that I'm personally aware of that is truly passive and that I participate in is dividends. So similar to the interest on my high yield savings account, I get paid a little bit of money every quarter. It's on a quarterly basis. And I get paid dividends, right? That's basically money you get paid by a company for owning their stock. They make money, they take a little piece of it and they give it back to you as sort of a thank you for investing in the company. So for me, that is what passive income is, and that's what it's all about, is finding ways to make your money work for you without having to do anything with it. And aside from literally transferring the money into my investment account and purchasing stocks or ETFs, I have nothing else that I need to do. So that, while there is technically a little bit of work that goes into it, I mean, that's as simple as me opening up my phone, transferring the money, and clicking a couple buttons, and then buying. So that for me is passive income, and that is the version of passive income that I am chasing. I would love to get to a point, and I'm hoping to get to a point where my investments pay me enough in dividends that I can just live off of that, right? Like if I didn't want to work, I wouldn't have to. Now I know living off dividends can take a while to build up that size, that big of a portfolio. But then again, I'm not looking to drive Lamborghinis and, you know, eat at Ruth Chris every night. Like I don't need all of that. I just want to be able to sustain a normal lifestyle, right? Take care of my bills and, eat healthy, be comfortable, maybe go out to eat every once in a while. Like if I can get to a point where my portfolio pays me enough in dividends to fund that lifestyle, to fund a modest but comfortable lifestyle, I will feel like I genuinely have reached success, because then I don't have to answer to anyone, right? If my boss tells me you have to stay late, no, I don't. Right? If I get fired, I don't have to worry about how am I going to pay my bills because I have investment income. You know what I mean? Like it's just a certain level of comfort, and it's a certain threshold that once you get past it, you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. A lot of problems become inconveniences. And that's the point I'm trying to get to with passive income. So that's my version of passive income, and that's what I'm chasing. But I mentioned a couple other things earlier, right? Real estate, rental properties, vending machines, laundromats. Um, while these are and can be considered versions of passive income, there is some work that goes into it, and then there's some work that comes along with it, right? Like, let's take the vending machines, for example. In order to earn that passive income, you number one have to have some money in order to purchase those vending machines and the product that you're going to put in them. But then you also have to maintain those machines and keep them stocked, right? So there are some ongoing expenses and work that comes along with that. Another example, real estate, rental properties, right? Most of the time, you're going to have to put some sort of money down on that property. But then there's a lot of other expenses that come along with it, like maintenance and, property management if you're doing it yourself or you're having someone else do it. If the hot water heater breaks or the central air breaks, you got to replace those things. So there's a lot of unknowns and what ifs and pop-up expenses, and how about insurance and taxes and all these different things, right? So for me right now, that seems like it's more work than it's worth for me. But then again, I'm focusing my efforts elsewhere, right? I have a normal 9 to 5 job. I'm working on this YouTube channel. So between those two things, and then also, going to the gym and taking care of any other responsibilities that you have to take care of as an adult and all that kind of stuff, and hanging out with my girl, like, it just takes up time, right? Like, I don't have the time to manage a property at this point in my life. And frankly, I'm not really interested in it. It's just not something I'm focused on, because it doesn't seem like it's worth it for me at this time. Now, other people may be in a different situation, or you may have a different opinion on it. But for me personally, I'm focused on building out true passive income, which is like totally hands off, just invest the money and let it pay you dividends or interest. Like, that to me is ideal. And again, maybe I'm not getting the return that I would for real estate, or I don't know, something like laundromats or vending machines or anything like that, something else passive. But for me, the risk and the work that goes along with those things, in my opinion, is not worth the reward at this point. Maybe down the line it will be, right? Like, I'll be honest, if I had a liquid net worth of $1 million, maybe I would consider throwing a couple $100,000 into a property and working at building out a portfolio of rental properties. Like, if I could afford to do that, but right now it's just not in the budget and it's not worth the risk for me. So I'm focusing on things that I can actually achieve with little to no expenses. And, every dollar I put into my portfolio to pay me dividends is working for me, right? There is the risk of losing that money. But, when it comes to dividends, it's really, again, relatively speaking, safer investments. Like, I'm talking about like broad market dividend ETFs and stuff like that. I get paid some dividends from VOO. I'm a big VOO guy. That's my S&P 500 ETF that I invest in. So I'm not making killer money, but it's something, that's getting kicked back to me for investing my money, all while that money is growing as well over the course of years. So that's sort of my thought process when it comes to passive income and where my head is at. But I'm really curious to hear from you guys. Like, what avenues of passive income are you pursuing? And if you're not, like, which ones are you thinking about? I may have totally missed some that I should really look into. I want to hear about this kind of stuff from you guys, because I'm always looking to find new ways to make money. And if there's something that I'm missing or another avenue that I should start researching and looking into, I want to hear from you guys, man. Let me know in the comments below. Like, what are your thoughts on passive income? Do you have any streams of passive income? If not, what are you pursuing? Let me know in the comments below, man. That's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you checking in. As always, if you're new here, I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I post all kinds of content about like personal finance and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes I even talk about like my personal life, my personal experiences. So if you like any of that kind of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.